Hello guys and welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to create our door in here. So basically what will happen is that we will create a door in here and then we will have a button in here so that whenever our ball comes and gets over the button will be pushed down and our door will open, or our door will go up. All right. But before we do that, actually, because we created our environment in the last video, so right now our world will need a build. Because if you do not build it, sometimes maybe an FPS drop will. Actually, let me show you something. So if you hit tilt on your keyboard, all right, this thing will come up, that cmd command, the console command. All right, if you hit tilt, it will go and come back, go and come back. And if you bring it up and type stat fps, and then you'll be able to see your fps in here. Right now mine says 120. There's a limit in Unreal Engine. The maximum limit is 120. You can also change the maximum limit to 200 or any number that you want, but by default it's set to 120. And right now you can see that mine is set to 120, and sometimes you may see 80 or things like that. If you can see that this message on your viewport, you can see that it says lighting needs to be rebuilt. So if we rebuild it, and this message will be gone. So let's just build it. And by the way, the build time might take a little bit based on how many things you put into your environment. All right, so just what you want to do is click build and then wait a little bit till it finishes. All right, so the build for me has finished. As I said, it's gonna take a little bit of time based on how many things you put into your environment and how fast your computer can run. It's based on those things. All right, and you can always have that fps in here so that you can see. And also if you want to hide it again, what you want to do is just hit tilt on your keyboard and type stat fps again, and it's gonna hide. But why not to have it? All right, just hit tilt and have stat fps again. And by the way, if you want to see how much it's forcing on the GPU and the CPU or things like that, we've got something else as well. We can hit tilt and then type stat unit, right? And you can see that it's gonna show you the GPU draw. Game is the CPU, I think, and the frame and everything. All right, okay, let's hide that stat unit again, and let's start creating our door in here. So what we want to do is go to the rollball folder and then go to the blueprint and then right click and create a new blueprint class and select actor. What we want to call this is BP. Should we call it door or gate? I don't know. Just call it door. All right, BP door, and it should be fine. Open it up, and what we want to do is have a door and then have a button alongside with each other. So what we want to do is add component and then type static mesh and then select that one and call it gate. All right, and then we want to bring the static mesh of I think it was SM planes castle arc iron, right? And then compile and save. So what we want to do is go to the add component and then type static mesh again and then create our button, name it button, button. And then alright, so we don't have anything that is near to a button, so I'm just gonna use the static mesh that we used for our coin. Alright, so just type coin and then use that static mesh as a button. Right, so does that look like a button? I don't know, just move it to this side. What am I doing? Just move it to this side and then move it to that side maybe. And then let's create a material for it as well. Just go to map 1, go to the assets folder in here, and then create material for it, and then type m red, and then what you want to do is hold 3 on your keyboard and then grab it and put it into the base color and just create a nice looking red button. This is pinkish. Yeah, maybe something like this would do. All right, just apply and then save it and then get out of it. And in here in the materials, type red and see if we can choose that. Yeah, I think that will be cool for our button. All right, so what we want to do is, create a box collision on the button so that whenever our ball gets into that box collision on our button, the door will open up. All right, so click the button in here and then add component and then type box collision. So you see that if we clicked something and then added a component to it, it's gonna create a child for it as that component. All right, just make sure that the box is the child of the button. All right, and then make sure that the box collision is moved a little bit up so that it's centered. Let me show you what we need to do. So for example, if we go to our world and then add our door into the, oh my god, right now the door looks really small. Why is it like that? Right, we're gonna fix that as well. So if our door is in here, what we want to do is let me just make it 5 times bigger. Oh my god. All right, make it 3 again. Right, yeah, something like that. Right, we'll fix that later. Right, so what we want to do is, you see that right now if I put my door into the environment, you see that our button goes into here. So if I move the button in here a little bit to the left side, it's gonna be in there. But I'm also planning to use that door, that same door in here. All right, that same door in here. So just think that this is as big as the other one. All right, so if my door is in here, I don't want the button to be next to it. All right, I just want the button to be somewhere else. The button that that red button, all right, I want it to be in here, not right there. So what we want to do is let me make this one bigger as well. Make that one 3, and you see that our button is getting to here. Right now I cannot move the button, all right, because both of them are the same thing. If I move the button, the door will move with it. So what we want to do is solve this problem and be able to move our button to wherever we want. So how are we going to do that? All right, let me delete that door and let me delete the other door as well. All right, so how can we do that? Let's see. So right here we have got the construction script. All right, we had the viewport, we had the event graph where we wrote all of our code, and in here there's something that we haven't touched yet, which is the construction script. All right, so basically what the construction script is, it says that whenever this object is created, all right, whenever this door, all right, this blueprint is created, do the things right here first and then create the blueprint. All right, so as its name says, it's a construction script. All right, so what that means is that whenever the the object or the blueprint or anything like that, it is created, it's gonna be created with these rules in here. All right, so the things that are being created will be on the rules in here. So we want to put a rule in here that says, that lets us to change the location of this button. All right, so what we want to do is go to the construction script, and here in the variables we want to create a new variable and call it button position, right? And make sure that the variable type is a vector. All right, so vector is used for placements. All right, so compile and then save, and just make sure that the button's position, the default one is 0 and 200 and 0, something like that. Just just make sure that it's not 0 0 0. We want to see the things that we do. Just make it 0 200 and 0. And then what we want to do is here in the button position, make it public. All right, hit the eye in here, make sure that the eye is opened, so that if it is if it is public, we can edit it in here in the details panel. All right, so go back into your BP door, and then what we want to do is with the button selected, all right, make sure that the instance editable is clicked, and also what we want to do is click the show 3D widget. All right, then compile and save, and let's see what we've done. All right, so with creating the door, all right, let me rotate it again. All right, with creating the door, we've also created something else. So you can see that we've got the door right now. Let me bring it up. We've got the door right now, we've got the button, and we've got also something in here which says button position, and we can move it, we can rotate it, we can do everything. Oh, we cannot rotate it, of course, it's a position. All right, we can move it to wherever we want. All right, we can also rotate it if you want to, but we don't want rotation. All right, we just want to place it in somewhere that we want. All right, you see that we can change the button position. So what we want to do is now tell the construction script wherever that button position is, move our button to that position. All right, so spawn our button in the position of the button position that we created right now. All right, so how can we do that? What we want to do is in the construction script, get our button in here. All right, and then grab it and type set relative location. All right, set relative location, and then click it and make sure to connect those. And also what we want to do is grab the button position and select get the button position, and then connect them together. So what this does, make sure to hit compile and save. It's pretty much self-explanatory. What this does is gets the button, all right, and then it sets the relative location of the button to that button position. All right, so it gets the button, it sets this relative location to the door. All right, you see that the door is in the original place, is in the 0 0 place. All right, it sets the location of the button, all right, relative to the position of the door. The door is in the 0 0 0, and our button relative to the door will be positioned in that button position place. All right, so just hit compile and then save, and then go to your map, and you see that right now we can move our button to wherever we want. We can also move it up and down and move it to any place that we want, and the button will be there always. All right, just make sure that to where is it? Yeah, just make sure that to make that one scale to maybe 2 or 3. I don't know, maybe 2. No, 2 is not a good number. Make it 3. Right, it's a little bit huge, but it will do its job. All right, just move the button into here and then move it down, and let me see. Yeah, right now our button just looks a little bit thin. I'm just gonna go and make it a little bit thicker. Just select your button and then scale it up to be scale it on the z-axis to be, make sure that this is not selected, to be 1.5 maybe. Yeah, something like that. This looks like a button much more than the other one, right? So yeah, that looks great. And now what we want to do is to create the functionalities that says whenever our ball comes to that button, it's gonna open the door. All right, so let's do that now. Go to your BP door again, and then go to the event graph. So what we want to do is from the event actor begin overlap, so whenever our ball gets into that box collision, this is gonna fire. And from the other actor, we want to make sure that the other actor is our ball first, and then what we want to do is to cast it to BP ball pound. All right, first of all, we want to cast it to BP ball pound and say that if it is the ball, then do these things. All right, so what we want to do, if it is the ball, we want to get our button in here and we want to push the button down. All right, so get the button and then type move component 2. All right, move component 2, and then connect those together. And where do you want to move our button to? We just want to push it down a little bit. So how do we do that? You remember with the button position, we've got the position that the button is set to. So we just want to grab the button position, get the button position, and then right click on it and then hit the split struct pin. All right, so right now it's gonna make it button position X and Y and the Z axis, right? And in here in the move component 2, what we want to do is just right click and then split struct pin as well. And what we want to do is, you know, connect the X value and the Y value, and we just want to, you see that button position, we just want to, you know, take it down a little bit. So you see that if I take it down, you know, it will show something like an animation that it has been pressed. All right, just make sure that it is 0 again, and then go to the event graph, and from the Z axis we want to type negative so that it will be float minus float. And how much do you want to, you know, move it down? Maybe 5 units, just make it -5 and then put it into the Z location. And what else do you want to do is to move the gate up. Right, move the door up. So if we want to get the gate, and then we want to type move component 2. All right, and what we want to do is to connect those and say that where do you want to move our gate. We just want to move it up a little bit, and we will type something like 50 maybe, and then hit compile and then save it and see if that works. All right, just play it and let's see if it works. So the button will be pressed and the gate will be opened, and right now you can see that the button will be pressed so much that we cannot no longer, you know, see the button. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna you know, decrease that value to maybe 3 and then hit compile and then save, and let's see if that would work. Yeah, you can see that whenever I push the button, all right, the button will be pressed this much. I think that is enough. All right, we don't want anything more than that. We don't want our button to be moved a lot down so that we can no longer see it. We just want to see it like this. All right, and our door will be opened and we can go to the other side and we are free. All right, so let's see a recap of what we did today. What we did is we created a blueprint, a BP door blueprint, and what we did is we created a gate in here, and then we created a button with a static mesh and it had a box collision in it. And after that we created a button position variable in here, which was a vector, and we made sure that it is public, and it's also, you know, we click the show 3D widget to see that widget in here. You see that widget in here? This is because we selected the show 3D widget. This is gonna appear so that we can, you know, move it to any place that we want. All right, so how did we create that the button should move with the 3D widget? How did we do that? We went to the construction script and then grabbed our button in here and then set its relative location to the door with the button position that we created in here. so that whenever our door is created, always our button will be in the same place with the button position. And after that, what we did is went to the event graph, and then we said that every time this actor has been overlapped, make sure that if it is the ball, and if it is our ball, then move our button down a little bit by 3 units, and then move our gate or our door up by 50 units. And that's all we did today. So guys, hope you learned a new thing today, and I think for the next video we've got lots of things that we want to do, especially the air zone in here, but I think, you know, by doing some music and sound into our game, that will be much cooler. You see that right now our environment is great, but we did not add any music to our game, so that will not look so good. All right, so I think that we will add our music in the next video, and till the next video, as always, see you guys, and bye bye.